Good, happy Friday morning. It's Friday, May 6th, 2022. I'm Riley King. Welcome to your morning news update right here on the Riley King Radio Network. We have a lot of news to get to this morning, so let's get started with your morning news update right now. First up, New Hampshire Senate narrowly approves legislation to repeal abortion clinic buffer zone law. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Within the last hour, the state Senate repealed the law providing for a buffer zone around abortion clinics on a very narrow 12 to 11 vote. Republicans cited the 2014 Supreme Court decision striking down Massachusetts buffer zone laws to make this move. Democrats say New Hampshire's law is different from the one in that case in that it does not mandate a specific buffer zone distance. The governor has said he will veto this bill once it reaches his desk.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. One person treated for smoke inhalation burns in Manchester house fire. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
And tonight we are also learning that one person was treated for smoke inhalation and minor burns after a house caught fire in Manchester. It started just after 6 o'clock tonight on Notre Dame Avenue over on the city's west side. It took about 40 minutes to bring it under control. The cause is still under investigation. Damage expected to be up near $100,000.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Taco tour returns to downtown Manchester. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
At Booking.com, finding perfect isn't rocket science. Kitchen? Sorted. Hot tub? Why not? And of course, puppy friendly. We don't like to say perfect, but it's pretty perfect. Booking.com. Booking.yeah. Now, with 60 restaurants strong and after a 2-year pandemic hiatus,
Take a bite.
the taco tour was back in downtown Manchester and bigger and better than ever. The Manchester Chamber of Commerce launched this project years ago, and now big additions, including the championship-winning taco trophy and the inaugural taco ceremony.
It's been a long 2 years. The weather is perfect. It's been so great watching everyone set up today, and we're really excited to get out there.
Following a taco test for the big cheeses indoors, they hit the streets outdoors, following the lead of the Grand Marshal, the roaming foodie as he calls himself, who is a food sensation on TikTok and calls dairy home.
It's awesome. It's like so much energy. Everyone's just super excited. Lines everywhere. People are getting tacos. It's wicked fun.
At $3 a taco, nobody eats just one. There's beef tacos and chicken tacos, tacos for two, taco tacos, and no time to slow down. It's like trick-or-treating in May. It brings thousands downtown to kick off the warm weather season. And the winner of the best voting contest, the best taco around, gets the trophy and, of course, $1,000 to give to the charity of their choice.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Sounds like a fun event last night. State Senate passes a bill creating a fund to settle YDC abuse claims. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Well, Monica, Tom, we just spoke with the Attorney General's office, who's touting this as a good move, saying it expands options for victims, but not everyone agrees with that. Now, the state Senate tonight voted 14-10 to create a fund to compensate some of the more than 500 people claiming they were abused as children at the YDC. Under the settlement fund, victims of sexual abuse would be eligible for payments up to $1.5 million, while payments for victims of physical abuse would be capped at $150,000. Now, the Senate rejected an amendment that would have increased those limits to $2 million and $200,000. And Democrats also unsuccessfully lobbied in favor of expanding the definition of sexual abuse to include incidents like indecent exposure and forcing kids to watch pornography, something that victim advocates say they would have liked to see included.
The appropriate tool would have opened its doors to every victim who was abused, every victim who was tortured, and allow them to make their case in a very individualized way.
This is not an exclusive process. This does not remove options for victims. This expands options for victims, which I think is the right thing to do.
And Russ Riley, the attorney for the more than 550 victims in this case, called the bill, quote, political theater. He said that it's not victim-centered or trauma-informed, and says that he's going to urge all of his clients not to use the bill to get settlements. We're live in Concord tonight. Scott Cook, WMUR News 9.
Scott, thank you. And as for the facility itself, it's set to be shut down. The 2-year budget signed in June includes a mandate to close the youth detention center by March of next year because of the high costs associated with its operation. But the House has passed a bill extending that closure until June of 2024, so the state has time to build a new 6-bed facility. And the Senate has approved its own extension, but is calling for an 18-bed facility.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. COVID-19 hospitalizations and deaths expected to rise. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
Breaking news from the FDA tonight. They are now urging Americans to avoid the Johnson & Johnson vaccine if you have access to Pfizer or Moderna instead, because of concerns over potential blood clots. We also have news here tonight on that antiviral Paxlovid that so many Americans are now taking, with the Omicron subvariant now sweeping the country. Reports that some have said their symptoms have come back after taking that antiviral. Here's Whit Johnson.
Tonight, the FDA moving to limit the use of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, saying the one shot should only be given to Americans who either don't have access to the Moderna or Pfizer vaccines or won't take them. The FDA pointing to the real but rare risk of blood clots after the J&J shot. It comes as COVID hospitalizations and deaths are expected to climb for the first time in months. In the last 2 weeks, ER visits up 44%.
For the most part, people are well protected from the vaccines, but those that are unvaccinated make up a large portion of those that are in hospitals, as well as the elderly and immunocompromised patients that can't mount an effective immune response.
And tonight, health officials also reporting more people are turning to the drug Paxlovid, its use up tenfold in recent weeks. But now a team of scientists is investigating some reports of a relapse in COVID symptoms in patients who took the antiviral drug. Paxlovid, which can cut the risk of hospitalization by nearly 90%, is for people with mild to moderate COVID symptoms and high risk of severe disease. John Donahue says he, his wife, and mother-in-law all saw their COVID symptoms dramatically reduced after taking the pills.
After about another 5 days, we started having symptoms again, all 3 of us. We had another 5 days or so of feeling ill, where we tested positive.
Donahue says the second time around, the symptoms were milder. The CDC says the reports of relapse are a reminder that anyone who develops symptoms of illness during or after isolation should remain isolated, masked, and seek out testing and clinical care. For patients who get recurrent COVID symptoms, the FDA says there is no need to take more Paxlovid. Tonight, many health experts remain confident in the drug's benefits.
The main thing is Paxlovid is to prevent progression to severe disease, hospitalization, and death, and it does that.
All right, that's the news on Paxlovid. In the meantime, let's get back to Whit Johnson. I want to go right back to the news from the FDA late today, just before we came on now, limiting the use of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, saying to get Pfizer or Moderna if you can instead, pointing to this risk of rare blood clots. But I've got to think about all the people out there, Whit, who are asking themselves, I got this many, many months ago. Should I be concerned?
Exactly, David. Millions of Americans got the J&J vaccine, and while there is a low risk of blood clots, that's only been seen in the short term, the days and weeks after the shot. Health officials have been recommending the other vaccines for months now because they don't carry the same level of risk, but this is the furthest they've gone in actually limiting access to J&J. David?
All right, Whit Johnson on the breaking news tonight. Whit, thank you.
Okay, there you go on that video and that report. That does it for your morning news update right here on the Riley King Radio Network. Thank you for tuning in and listening to this morning news update. Have a great day, everyone. Goodbye.